So within the next 10 seconds, we will be live. So on a 3, 2, 1, we are live now. Over to you.
Are we live?
Yes, sir, we are live now.
Yes, we are live.
Good morning, friends, and welcome to Live Pharma Coalition, a global knowledge and networking forum across the pharmaceuticals. LPC 15434 is the today's episode, and as you all know, today's episode comes with a wonderful initiative of women leadership. We will touch upon two very important aspects of pharmaceutical leadership. One is the marketing, pharmaceutical marketing, international marketing, and overview. And the second one is coaching during the joint field work. So on behalf of Live Pharma Coalition, I would like to thank each one of you for your continuous support, patronage, and care and inspiration so that we have been able to come to this juncture. In today's environment, market dynamics are changing very rapidly. Stringent regulatory restrictions are coming. Also, most of the companies are closing down their operations in India, restructuring. There is an uncertainty regarding the job security. So a lot of things and digital transformation. In this juncture, it is very important for us to connect, collaborate, and co-create something which will address the current challenges and also bring out the best in the team. And in today's episode, we have two of the eminent speakers I would like to introduce. First is Madhumita Manna ma'am. She is a regular speaker in our virtual session as well as in our conclave. Ma'am is the Director Healthcare in Indian Chamber of Commerce in Slovak Republic. Also, Dr. Reddy's Laboratory. She has kept leadership position in Pfizer and Torrent. Ma'am, welcome. Thank you very much for accepting our invite. And please give an overview of your topic, Madhumita ma'am.
Yeah. So I think the topic itself is very self-explanatory. So if you look at international marketing, which is actually becoming the norm of many companies, especially the Indian companies, both large size and mid size, because I don't believe that only the large size can happen. The mid size have definitely had very niche products which can be marketed globally. As the topic says, it is basically an extension of a company's local marketing strategy. And therefore, what we really need to do when we want to take our products internationally, I'll just give a glimpse. The topic is very vast, but I will give a glimpse of that. But before that, thank you so much, Yashwant, for the kind introduction. And I hats off to the entire team of Mr. Verma, you and Arpan, who have continuously been on this platform, and I don't see even a single Sunday really going. So great teamwork.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Looking forward from learn from you. And with Madhumita ma'am, we have another speaker, Kiran Verma ma'am. She is also a regular speaker in LPC, a core team member. Ma'am, thank you very much for accepting our invite. Kiran Verma ma'am is AGM Sales Training in IPCA Laboratories. She is heading training and development in IPCA of the cluster. Ma'am, we are thankful for you to accept our invite. And ma'am is going to share with us today the coaching during joint field work. Most of the pharma sales managers, they go to joint field work with the medical representatives. How they can coach and develop their team members during the joint field work. That is what ma'am is touching upon. Ma'am, an overview of your topic, Kiran ma'am.
Thank you so much, Yashwantji, and good morning to all of you to be connected with us on this Sunday morning. And let me first congratulate Team LPC also, because today is a very special occasion for not only for the LPC team, but for all of us who are associated in one way or the other because they are going to, they are in a program where they're going to get Pharma Ratna awards. And that's a great, great, moment for all of us. So many, many congratulations, heartfelt congratulations to all of you. So as you have already shared that today I'm going to take the topic coaching. Coaching itself is a very vast topic, but I will definitely like that the viewers would get benefited because most of them are from pharma sales. By understanding what exactly coaching is, if you really want to become a coach, what are the essential qualities a coach must have, and the why and how of the coach. How do you do coaching, and why coaching is so essential. I would also like to, throw some points on what is the present scenario when it comes to pharma sales coaching. What is the relevance, and what is the present scenario? So that's all about which I will be going to talk about.
Thank you very much, Om. Thank you very much. It is very important subject for across all the people involved in any position. Coaching and mentoring of people is at most important across industry. So it is very, very useful. So we look forward for learn from you. And to help me in this session, we have our own ICS Verma sir as a co-moderator. Sir, thank you very much once again for being a part of LPC virtual session after a long time. ICS sir, a brief overview of topic from you.
Yeah, first of all, I thank both our speakers who have accepted our invite, and they are always part of caring through this platform, especially Madhumita ma'am and Kiran Verma ma'am. Welcome once again to LPC.
Thank you, sir.
So definitely all of you will agree on one thing, like, the Indian pharma is now called as the global pharmaceutical, hub. So the today's topics are actually the beautiful blend of both Indian as well as the global. So Madhumita ji will be discussing about when to go global, and Kiran Verma madam is going to discuss more on the coaching to improve the sales performance. So I think it's a beautiful day, and looking forward to learn from both of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ICS sir. Thank you very much for an overview. Now I would go to Madhumita ma'am as our first speaker to give us an overview of international marketing. Before that, let me brief about her profile, as many of the regular viewers already know about Madhumita ma'am. She is having a vast experience of 25 years in pharmaceutical across functions in domestic market as well as in the international market. And one thing which many people may not know, she is pursuing her PhD currently. So very shortly she will become Dr. Madhumita Manna, and very best wishes for that, ma'am. Apart from pharmaceuticals, Madhumita ma'am has also worked in FMCG, OTC, and pharma lifestyle disease. And ma'am has worked in some of the leadership position in some of the big companies like Dr. Reddy's Laboratory, Torrent Pharmaceuticals, Pfizer, and JK Ansell, which is one of the multinational companies. Not only that, ma'am is having in-depth understanding, and she is a subject matter expert when it comes to sales and marketing, regulatory affairs, international marketing. So we are really fortunate to have Madhumita ma'am today in LPC, and she is going to share with us an overview of global international marketing. Ma'am, thank you very much once again, and over to you.
Thank you, Yashwant. I'm very humbled by the introduction. Of course, you're just a small little person in the entire space of experts in the pharmaceutical industry. I'm just very blessed with a vast experience across the industries, and I think this diverse experience really brings in a lot of insighting. So when we talk about international marketing, let me just come to understand, what strategy is the right strategy. Now, if you look at the pharmaceutical companies, we have both prescription products at the acute and the chronic end, and the OTC products, which is definitely seeing a lot of increase by leaps and bounds, the growth because of the recent pandemic. So pharmaceutical companies active in consumer health and OTC are seeking to optimize their business strategies, of course. My experience of international marketing really dates back to my FMCG days, and also as the head of commercial excellence in Dr. Reddy's, especially looking after the OTC business. Why are they really going global? So they are seeking to optimize their business strategy in order to increase the company growth and revenue, which is a no-brainer. Because what happens is the domestic market definitely provides you a certain platform or the certain play area. But as you go global, your play area increases and therefore your top line increases. And there are chances that your P&L increases because domestically you might for a product have some kind of a price capping, which may not be there in other countries. So sometimes not only does it add to your top line, but it also adds to your bottom line. Now, what is happening is there is a lot of shift which is happening from home market to the international market due to increased globalization. So we know more of population of a certain country. There's a lot of globalization happening, and business are they are also very committed in their corporate goals and strategies to contemporize and look at this global opportunity. Global dynamics for healthcare companies to adjust to the demands of globalization requires, and it requires a special skill sets, and there are a plethora of things which really needs to be looked at when you want to go global. So internationally, pharma strategy needs to ensure growth and also achieve the ambition of the company, otherwise it doesn't make sense. To achieve the growth through international sales, while we fostering current business is also very important, that's the main focus. But possibly if you're investing globally, much of your investments must shift into those markets. It also requires adopting to international pharma strategy. So you cannot say that this is what I'm doing here and therefore I'm going to continue to do this in the other countries also, because the countries are very different. If you look at the global market, there are various countries in the global market. Okay, if you look at the global market, there are these countries which we call as the emerging market, and then there are the rest of the world. Now, most of the companies are concentrating on the emerging markets. Why? Because they are still in a very nascent stage and very, very poised for growth. For example, Russia may have a lot of molecules and medications which are a little traditional and back in the generation. So you have all the play field in Russia to launch something which is possibly in India very mature, but in Russia it may be into stage 2 or 3 in the maturity cycle. So that's very important. Emerging markets also have a promising annual growth rates. If you look at some of the data, which is your Statistica data and all of that, there is almost a growth rate of 36%, if I remember it correctly, in the OTC space. As a result, what happens is your top line increases, your profitability, business opportunities also increases. To make your business more profitable, that is an opportunity which is created by the international market. It also increases your expenditure, but these markets also provide a huge platform, because if you look at the per capita expenditure of healthcare in these markets, it's much more. And the emerging markets especially, are growing. I think the percentage of emerging market contributing to the growth of the pharmaceutical industry is moved from 14% to 36%. This is what I saw from a source. What is happening also is a lot of businesses and investors are taking advantage of the recent institutional sales that are happening in the emerging markets, because emerging markets are still really emerging. There's a lot of structural inefficiencies that really crop in, which is still being curated. I will, during this thing, give you an example of possibly Russia. an international marketing strategy also, as I said throughout, I'm just giving the gist of what I was saying, is also enables the company to avoid your dependence on a single market. And therefore your risk is mitigated across a lot of markets, right? If a market, say, if the domestic market is slowing down, then you have other markets to play forward to. There is one particular, when you look at international marketing, there is one particular strategy does not work at all. Because, for example, if I'm in Russia, I will not say that I have this particular thing in Russia, and for all my products, I'm going to do only this. For example, if the product is OTC, then we do something differently. The product is RX, then the strategy is very, very different. The product is a medical device, then it is very different. Within OTC also, the high amount of self-care and regularly bought products. So there is a lot of sub-classification that one needs to look at. And with this, if a company is really looking for an opportunity to increase international sales, there is not a good time but this. Okay. The geographical focus, when I've been speaking a lot about the emerging markets. Now, when you look at the geographical focus, especially of the Indian companies, it has been countries like Russia, Ukraine, Brazil, South Africa, some bit of Poland. So those are the countries, ASEAN countries like Vietnam, which is being concentrated on. And as I said at the beginning of the session, that it is not depending on that the company is large and has deep pockets, and therefore they can go international. Even the mid-sized companies have essence to go through to go to international markets. Now, if you look, how do we approach transiting to international markets? And therefore, the international marketing knowledge is extremely important, at least the parameters that are required for anybody to market their product internationally. Now, if you look at the traditional way of marketing in pharmaceutical, where we think product and just go and fit it, it doesn't work. And I think most of the presentations or most of the things which are very product focused, I have at least been of the thought that, once you're thinking going international, very important is to learn, very important is to see the countries and what is the potential there. That's definitely a number one criteria. But when you are selecting the countries, you need to also deep dive internally to see that what is the portfolio that you have. And you just can't do one or two products. It is better to give a portfolio, because then your productivity kind of increases. So what you normally would do is, within your, say, your plethora of offering, you first funnel down on the products that you need to take internationally. Then looking at the potential of the country, which may be or may not be the right benchmark, because all your data sets that are available can defy a lot of logic. If there is, say for example, a certain molecule is growing in one of the ASEAN countries, it is not necessary that that is the molecule you need to launch. Or some molecule does not have a market in a certain country, it is not necessary that you don't launch. Possibly, this molecule is not there in this country, and therefore you would like to select that country for a launch, of course, looking at a lot of things. So I think some of the parameters when it comes to approaching the international market is scanning your own DNA, infrastructure of the company, whether it is really adapt to go to look at the international markets. Also look at your portfolio, funnel it down, do the country selection based, of course, on the potential, but very much needed is also, which comes, I think, top of everything, and every forum that I go to, I say that the cornerstone of marketing any product is being very patient-centric. The ethnicity of the country really needs to be known in and out. I'll tell you why I'm saying this. For example, in one of the companies, we wanted to launch the VMS portfolio, which is the vitamin mineral supplement portfolio in Vietnam. But because everybody thought that Vietnam is the most ripe market for this product. But when you really went internally, looked at the research, interacted with the people in Vietnam, Vietnam is very well entrenched in vitamin mineral supplement. In the sense, in a day, they might take 3 to 4 kind of vitamin mineral supplement for their eyes and something for their hairs, because the women are extremely beauty conscious. People are very, very health conscious. But what was the catch? The catch was that they like a vitamin mineral supplement with herbs, and that too the local herbs, because that's a country which has very deep knowledge of herbal treatments. So that is what was, something which was extremely important to note. And therefore, taking an Indian herbal product or Indian vitamin mineral supplement may not be the answer to it. And if I took, say, for example, a vitamin C or a vitamin A, we will not be price competitive because the other branded generics are extremely, extremely cheap. Then take a country for example, Romania. Romania does not allow many of the products to go. And Romania, if you look at OTC products, there are a lot of, the government in these countries are also involved in healthcare, and a lot of it is subsidized. So the insurance policy also needs to be looked at. Then you, of course, once you've looked at a lot of parameters, you draft the market entry strategy. Once you've funneled down the product, you've funneled down the countries, and then you come to the most important part, which is the regulatory. And then, of course, one of the things that I also saw in this is the company may not have its own local people shifting there, or maybe company need not set up their own office with an entire sales team. Sometimes it may be very important to do a systemic local partner selection. Like DKSH is very, very robust distributors who not only does the distribution of products, they have a sales arm, they have a marketing arm, they have a media arm, because they understand the ASEAN diaspora very well. So instead of I as a company going and launching my sales team there, it will be nice, at least in the beginning, to go with a local partner, because it is more cost effective, and the knowledge of the local partner about that market is extremely, extremely deeper compared to the company which is launching the product. Let me again come back to the people. The ethnicity plays a very important role, and I just spoke to you about this example. Also, it is very important to know that these markets are also very dynamic in terms of their channels that they are buying products from, the media that they are consuming. Their avenues are shifting more digital. The avenues are shifting more experiential. All of these needs to be studied. And after that, you kind of funnel and develop a wide range of products to launch into this market, because 1 to 2 products will not give you that productivity. The other thing is that you need to not only look at your instant competition, but also look at something which we call, I think CK Prahlad calls it as the peripheral competition. For example, if I want to launch a vitamin mineral supplement, they might have some kind of a liquid, some kind of a drink which actually gives them the entire thing, and they're used to having that drink in the breakfast rather than taking a vitamin mineral supplement. So those are the things which is very important when you select the product. Second is the country selection. If you have to look at the best fit country in this market, specific to the portfolio, there are a lot of important this thing. For example, the regulatory space, which is very, very important. In some countries like Russia, the regulations are so stringent, or they are so ambiguous that your product dossiers only get approved 2 to 3 years hence. So when do you need to start? What you need to give them? The entire paperwork needs to be absolutely clear. It is also important to understand how the market knowledge, specific market drivers, also to correct the adaptation changes that the market needs for this particular product. When I say this, what I mean to say that the packaging, I'm just giving a very, very simple example. The packaging that is okay for you in India may not be the packaging that goes there. And when I'm talking about packaging, I separate the aspects of labeling and packaging completely different. So packaging involves not only your designing, but the shape of the package, etc., etc. The labeling, of course, has to be done with the regulatory requirements of that certain country. So this is one simple aspect of adaptability. Just I gave you an example. Also, if you look at the market entry strategy, after you have conducted the selection of the country, it is advisable that a market entry plan be made, and which is extremely very detailed, very strategic, looking at infinite numbers of aspects that you need to see to understand the real potential of your products in a specific market, products or brand. Facts also, apart from the 4 P's that we look at. In this case, it is not 4 P's, it is multiple P's that we need to look at. But apart from that, it is very important to look at your pockets and see what is the cost of entry into that market. What is the concentration of the competition in this market? What is this product all about? Does it really sell in a pharmacy where we are used to selling, or supermarkets are the way to go into this market, especially for OTC products? This all will actually result in a good market entry plan. So as I was saying some time back that, it is not about 4 P's. In this, there could be a multiple P's. So it is our first cornerstone, of course, understanding the people of the country. Then within the country, which place you need to launch, because the country, of course, is divided into districts and states and, metros, like a typical this thing that we have. For example, for a product to be launched in a certain country, the entire strategy was to go to the interior areas of the country where the healthcare had minimal reach. I mean, they had products, but they didn't have the advanced products because their entire top of the line cities were completely saturated with products. So what we found was the niche was to go deeper into the country, into the if in the Indian context, in the tier 3 or 4 or kind of five cities. Very important is to understand the pricing. The pricing takes may be extremely different from what we have been done in India, because pricing has to take into consideration not only the entire chain and their margins, but also it needs to take into consideration what are the government subsidizing the insurance policy, etc., etc. Then, of course, it involves designing the product very, very meticulously for the country. Your red color packaging might work in India, it may not work there. The carton might work in India, the strip might work in India, but there you may need a PET pack. Okay, the product itself might have to go a certain amount of variation in the content of the products to launch it there, or maybe we need to value add something. Then, of course, the product registration process along with all the regulatories. And the very quintessential, of course, is the partnerships that you are going to do with the local distributors. Okay. In fact, just coming back to the registration of the product, most of these countries like EGMP, European manufacturing, and therefore while registering, these are the things that you really need to take care and prepare the dossier accordingly. So lastly, I would say that this process is extremely complex. It's extremely challenging, but it is also, if you want to be a part of an international marketing, you should be a backpacker. You cannot be sitting at the desk and understanding international marketing. Yes, going to countries is extremely joyful and it is very exciting and thrilling. But when you go to the countries, what is most important is to understand the entire perspective from the consumer shoes. The rest all will flow because you will have your data. You will have, understanding the pharmacy, etc., can be done only by a market visit. Understanding the consumer purchase can be done only by a market visit. So apart from having all your data, which is your quantitative research or your qualitative research that you have in hand, as a marketer and a strategist, is important that before you take a decision as to what kind of funneling will you do in terms of products, the market, the kind of packaging that you're going to launch, the kind of communication that you're going to launch, have a very hands-on experience on going to these markets. So I think that's an overview of the international marketing. Yashwant,
Thank you,
Mr.
ma'am.
Verma,
Thank you
if
very
you
much. In fact, very comprehensive spectrum you have presented of international market. And as you rightly mentioned during our pre-session talk, it is very difficult to give the entire overview in 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It's a vast
Absolutely.
market, and entire market is having a diversity. So thank you very much, ma'am, for giving perspective. Before we go to question answer or next session, a brief take-home message. What you have discussed with the team, it is really difficult to give the take-home, but I will try my best. You started with an important point that global dynamics of global marketing is changing very rapidly, and any Indian company who want to enter into the emerging market or rest of the world, they need to foster their current business. Very important. So first, foster your current business, establish, then only you think of going to the international marketing. Another important thing is one size fits all will not work. Adopting to international pharma strategy is very, very important. Every company is having a different way, ethnicity, so you need to adapt to their changes. Accordingly, you can plan your marketing. And you talked about two important markets. One is the emerging market, and second is the rest of the world. And it is, and marketing and entering into the both the market is very, very difficult. One of the lucrative point you told is very, very very promising growth, around 14 to 36% market share and 35-36% growth. That is what attracts Indian pharmaceutical manufacturer to enter into the market. That is what is very lucrative. But as you mentioned rightly, you need to customize the strategies, and understanding of the local people, their ethnicity, and the portfolio is very, very important. We should not plan of entering a market with one or two products. That will not work. We should have a range of product portfolio so that productivity and will be increased, and we can get profitability will be there. Not only that, ma'am, one important point you told is the cornerstone of entering into the emerging market is the patient centricity and ethnicity. We need to understand the culture of the people of that country and the ethnicity, whether my products are addressing the patient need or not. And then only you will be able to succeed in that country. And you have given very good example of Vietnam, the herbal products in Vietnam, and vitamin C in Romania, where it is very, very economical, and Indian companies cannot match that cost. That is why we should think of the cost factor also while entering the market. Regulatory is very important point. As you mentioned, Russia is very stringent in regulatory affairs, so your documentation should be very, very proper. And selection of the partner is also very, very important. The channel partner, marketing drivers are also very important. And cost of it. Ma'am, thank you very much. It is really interesting, and also interesting to learn about the promising growth factors, also the points to keep in mind. Ma'am, before going to the next session, a small question I have.
Right.
What are the points should a company consider before going global? What are your points before entering the global market? What points should a company consider?
See, I'll tell every company might have so there are three ways of looking at it. A company might have a point of transition, which means they're saturated in the domestic market and they want to go into the, the international market for larger footprint to increase their top line and sometimes their bottom line. Or, the second one could be that they want to make their presence felt in that particular country. Just to a little correction there, when I was talking about vitamin C, I was talking about Vietnam. In Romania, Indian products have a lot of regulatory challenges. So the best to do in Romania would be to acquire or license out the local products. Okay. So for example, I want to put a footprint in Romania, or I want to have my footprint in Ukraine also, in Ukraine, of course, a very, very robust OTC market now going through a crisis. One of the things which will really help to expand the business, maybe not the products that is your product in India, but to have local companies, look at local companies and acquire their product. Okay. The third is that, in in India or the country that you belong to, there are price capping to a certain product, but outside you can get a better value of product. So there are a plethora of points when the companies want to transit internationally. Some of the points that, in fact, I have said that, but I'm summarizing the point, which is very important when you want to go international. One is the selection of the country, and selection of the country looking at their potential. Don't look at their potential only from your product point of view, look at their potential from the population point of view. For example, Russia, the population is decreasing. Russia, there is a lot of population which is in the higher or the senior segment. It may not be and pediatric segment. So, in the mid segment, it may not be the right thing to launch that product. What I mean to say is, when you come to senior citizens, they like to look at products which are RX products and also prescribed by doctor, because they need that endorsement and that confidence, right? So when you're looking at OTC products, they're saturated with OTC products and may be difficult for you to make an entry unless you have such a product proposition. The product may not be different, but it has such a value addition in terms of an ingredient or such a proposition that which will cut across all the products that are there. So selection of country, looking at the ethnicity, looking at the product portfolio, looking at multiple product portfolio, then looking at the pricing, looking at the market entry plans, which needs to be not, it's not just a day's job like a brand plan. It flows over a period of time. Then, and the most important is the regulatory diaspora, because there are a lot of regulatory challenges when you are entering this thing, because everything has to be done well in the dossier, otherwise the dossier gets rejected after all your work. And when I talk of local partner selection, it is not only about the partners that will distribute your product, the partners will be a communication partner, but it may be just a company whose products you might want to in-license and distribute and market. So these are some of the points, Yashwant.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for giving an overview. It is really excellent. And now we will take some questions from Facebook and YouTube later. We'll go to the next session. I request ICS Verma sir to take the session now for Kiran Verma, ma'am. ICS sir, in brief overview of the next topic and the speaker.
Thank you, Arpan and Madhumita ji.
Thank you.
So it's a pleasure once again to invite our all-time friend, Kiran Verma ma'am, who brings an extensive industry experience of more than 26 years, who is helping the pharma professionals to achieve their goals through her strategized and well-designed TNA-based training programs. She is currently the lead trainer in IPCA, who looks after the training and development. And it's a passion to enrich lives and make a significant difference through her programs. So as a panel member of Assessment Centers for Sales Professionals through competency-based interviewing techniques, she is helping them to develop, grow in their careers. And she also has 10 years of experience in sales at different capabilities. And she is an avid learner and equipped with herself the best of learning experience from MEHR, WHRB, and CAMI USA. Looking forward for many more. And I think she has got all the international accreditations on coaching and behavioral skills, certified master behavior skill trainer from World HR Board and CAMI USA, and certified master trainer and facilitator, and certified learning and development manager, certified executive and life coach, and certified psychometric assessment test professional. So welcome, Kiran Verma ji. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Varmaji. And thanks a lot for this. I'm so humbled. I feel humbled that you are there to introduce me. So after a great session by Madhumita, let me take the audience through some tips and bits on coaching. And since I can't see Arpan today on the platform, so I would like to start this day with a short story.
Arpan is in the award session now.
Yeah. So on behalf of Arpan, the story goes like this. So there was a rat who wanted to fly. We all know rats cannot fly. So this rat wanted to fly. So he just, strategized that how he will be able to fly in this lifetime. So what he did was that he made friends with two eagles. And eagles have got mighty flights. So he said that let me be friends with the eagles, and he taught the eagles to fly together, having a twig in their mouths. So there was a twig in both the eagles' mouth. They would catch it from both the end and they would fly. So once he had taught this, after he taught the eagles to do this, so the mouse, what he did was that then he jumped on the twig and then he said the eagles to fly. So he was catching the twig, and so he fulfilled his dream of flying, which practically it was not possible. So there is a second, twist to this story, that a friend of the rat, he asked that, this is really surprising and amazing. At last you could fly. And whose idea was this? So the rat said, it was my idea, and this is how he opened his mouth and he fell down. So, so this was an incomplete coaching. This is definitely not coaching. This is a coaching which is partial, but coaches are not like this. So that was a whole intention of telling you.
Partial coaching.
Partial coaching, yeah. So today, as I have already said, I'll be taking you through understanding of what coaching is actually. And before we actually, start talking on coaching, let us understand this, that coaching in our lives has been happening since we were born. Our parents, our teachers in school, they all have coached us. They all have taught us to, learn so many things and to develop in this life. And if we understand their intentions, they were very selfless people. They did not have any self-centric intentions. They just wanted us to grow and be successful in life. So that was the best coaching. But coming to professional coaching, you'll be surprised to know, or rather it will be an addition to your general knowledge, that the word coaching, it literally comes from a word carriage or a coach. You all know train coaches. So what is the role of the train coaches? They take you from where you are now to where you want to be. Suppose I want to go from Bombay to Delhi, so I'll sit in a coach and the coach will take me from Bombay to Delhi. So coaching, the word was derived from carriage or coach. So we can consider coaching as a vehicle to transport a person from where he is now in his life to where he wants to be. So coaching can act as a vehicle. Timothy has also defined coaching, and this is a similar definition for leadership also, that coaching is unlocking a person's potential to maximize their own performance. It is helping them to learn rather than teaching them. So if you see coaching at workplace, it aims to produce optimal performance and improvement at work. That is why we consider coaching at the workplace. And coaching also focuses on specific goals and skills. So first ever and the best coach in the history, professional coach, was Anne Sullivan, who was the coach of Helen Keller. I think we all know Helen Keller was the first blind lady or the person to earn a bachelor's degree. She was an American author, a political activist. And Helen Keller, whatever she did, she owes everything to her teacher. Surprisingly, Anne Sullivan, her coach, was also partially blind, and she did not have that ability to read and write. You can also visualize about Mr. Ramakant Achrekar. He was the coach of Sachin Tendulkar, and Sachin Tendulkar has said that when he died, these are his lines which I'm reading out, that cricket in heaven will be enriched with the presence of Achrekar sir. And his contribution in my life cannot be captured in words. He built the foundation that I stand on. So such was the respect and trust that Tendulkar had or has to Mr. Ramakant Achrekar, who was his coach. If we all know in the mythology, you must have heard of Dronacharya. So Guru Dronacharya was perhaps the first known coach who was there to coach the Pandavas as well as the Kauravas to increase their, their capabilities in terms of knowledge as well as skills. So who is the best coach? The best coach is that person who helps to think through problems. He doesn't give you a solution. He helps, or he or she helps to think through problems so that the person who is undergoing that problem develops their own problem solving abilities. So it's very important that who can become a coach? Can everyone become a coach? So we all can become coaches, but there are certain laid down qualities of a coach. And the first quality is patience. Patience so that you see the best in others. So whenever we see a person and we want to develop a person, or the person has a desire to get developed, many a times we get hooked to the negative points, or whatever the traits or the strengths or the weaknesses, actually not on the strengths. But the coach must have the patience, and he should get hooked to the best or the positive points in the coachee. The coach must have a very important human capability or trait, you say, empathy. Empathy is very important so that he understands the pain and struggle involved in learning and change. Had Anne Sullivan not be empathetic, maybe Helen Keller may not have reached some heights. And same with Sachin Tendulkar also. So the empathy also plays a very important role. Listening skills, extremely important. You cannot coach anyone if you are just there to push a person or being autocratic or just directing a person. So you have to listen to the issues the person is facing. You have to listen to the thoughts of the person also. So very high empathetic and very high on listening skills is a very, very important quality of a coach. Most importantly, I have written in capital letters, trustworthy. So today I decide that I'm going to coach somebody. Will I be successful in coaching? So no, never. I will be able to coach the person only if we have built a trust. So the person trusts me blindly that whatever I do, it will be for the benefit of that person. Then only coaching can be done. So trustworthiness. So mark all these words, because later I'm going to relate everything to the managers in sales. So trustworthiness is very important. A person who encourages you to set external benchmarks, or which he challenges you that you have done this much. He appreciates you, but he still says that, see, this is something which you can aim for. And who is always available for any sort of help, support, and guidance. So he acts like a facilitator as well as a mentor. He makes you believe that everything is possible. So this person's mindset is very positive. He gives you a vision and he makes you believe that everything is possible. He is disciplined, himself or herself, and he has got a sincere interest and desire to help others too. And optimistic buyers, that is, he helps to see the hidden power in everyone. So everyone has got hidden power. And the same, patience to see the best in others, being trustworthy, making you believe that everything is possible. So all these things are sort of, they match with each other. And he's quite passionate about coaching. So these are the qualities which a person should possess. If doesn't possess, should work upon improving on, if he or she really wants to become a coach. Now the question arises that, is coaching really important for managers? So why coaching? So, a lot of surveys and stories says that, the leaders today must be skilled at coaching. Because leadership is about enabling others to achieve their goals, even during uncertainty. And for this, the leader would require a very strong coaching skills. So it is said that leading and coaching are two sides of the same coin. if you want to become a leader or if you want to become a great manager, you should definitely have great coaching skills also. Now, if you start coaching others, this also helps you to improve your self-performance as a manager or as a leader. Retention of your team also improves. It's not so that, people would leave you if they get guided or they get helped by you. They would stay with you. So let me come quickly to the 5 steps to coaching. So the coaching can start only when you have trust. So building trust is the most important parameter. Then understanding the goals. What do you want? You means the coachee. What does the coachee want? Or what do you as a manager or a leader want that where the coachee should reach? Diagnose the change. That means diagnose that what change is required. Understanding the reality. Where are you now? Suppose I am at 5 lakhs of productivity and I want to go to 8 lakhs of productivity and I want to become a all India #1 sales professional. So the reality is I am at 5 lakhs now. I have so many prescribers. My capabilities are at this level. And so what change is required? The change first in my belief system, that I start believing in myself and in my potential that yes, I'll be able to do 7 lakhs. And the second change is that what are the other inputs which are required, what traits and what abilities I should sharpen so that I can reach there. So diagnosis of the change, that is also very important. And as a coach, you should develop and support what are the options available, what you could do as a coach and what the coachee can adhere to. So these are some steps of coaching and ultimately it leads to your growth. So the first thing is building trust. All other things are little technical, wherein you can analyze things and understand. Building trust is the first icebreaker, because maybe as a new manager or even as a manager who has worked for 3-4 years with your team, you might not be having that trust. So how to build trust? So we talk about a module which is known as Johari window, but today it's not the way to discuss this window. The major takeaways from this module Johari window is that you build trust with people when you disclose information about yourself. So if your team member know the good as well as the bad about you, not exactly the bad, but then what are your weaknesses or what are your areas of improvement, as well as who you are, what is your background, what is your thought process, what are your opinions, etc. So it is improved only when you enter into interaction or discussion with your team members. Today, many leaders, when they go to field, they just go to work, they finish the work and they get back home. In between whatever interactions, it can be personal as well as professional. So most of the times they avoid, or they are only telling the person that do this or do that. So it's not so happening that interaction, a quality interaction is not so happening. And you should always be open to a feedback system so that you can increase your self-awareness and effectiveness as an individual. So you, on a regular basis, this appears to be difficult, but on a regular basis, if you are giving feedback, please be open to take feedbacks from your team members also. Now, this leads to build trust and interpersonal relationship as per the Johari window. Another commonly used model for coaching is the GROW model, and many of you must be knowing it. So for GROW is, what is your goal? What do you want? What is the reality? Where are you now? What are the options available? What could you do? And the way, what will you do? So if you really want to do field coaching, this GROW model sits in very comfortably and it's easy to understand also. Now, let me talk a little about the coaching scenario in pharma sales. So we all know that today we do not have much patience. We have less patience because the environment has changed. Performance pressure is very high. Many of us have become self-centered because our senior may not have shown that empathy or patience in us. So we have not learned it also. So there is lack of empathy. It is like sort of a hire and a fire situation or a do or die situation. So we all know that how, uncomfortable closing days are for salespeople, and what type of interactions do happen during the sales closing days, that either you do this or you leave. So it's not that it's happening only in one organization, it is happening across the organization. This is a scenario. People do not have time. People are engaged into so many things. They prefer to, spend time on social media than on the person who is working along with them. If they had spent little time on the person who is working along with them, perhaps performance would have come very easily, and they would not have been able to face this performance pressure also. Listening skills, they are really a big concern. Many a times my experience shows that somebody is trying to tell you something and the manager is ready with an answer without listening to the perspective of the team member. So listening skills, a question mark. Desire to coach is a bigger question mark. Now everyone says that ज़्यादा सिखा देंगे तो वो छोड़ के चला जाएगा. So इतना क्यों मेहनत करना? And what my understanding says that you should coach people, you should develop people, let them leave if they still want to. At least he will be going in your same industry and he will be a much better person after coaching. And do not forget the world is round and he might gravitate back to you also. So many people who have been performers, I have been, when I interact, although I have been in IPCA, but then I am exposed to many people across the industry. There are many people coming from the other companies also. So they share this concern that itna sikha ke kya hoga, fir to wo chala hi jayega. So believe me, if you have invested so much of time and effort and emotions and empathy in somebody, that person would remain with you. Person would never want to go home to any other organization. And the biggest burning question is that if we are not coaching enough, do we not have long-term goals in our mind? So we are very short-term, goal-oriented people. Ek mahina beeta and then we do our target, then day one onwards again, the same thing happens. We are not thinking about how the brands become bigger. The brand becomes bigger only because of the person. If you make the person bigger, if you make him feel confident and comfortable with you, automatically, your long-term goals will be fulfilled. So the coaching scenario in pharma sales, I find, is to be little grim. It must be happening here and there in a passive manner, but it is not happening in an organized manner. The same pharma industry, people who are really senior in their designation, they are hiring executive coaches and life coaches to change and develop and grow. But people who are actually out in the field, they are not getting the same opportunities to get coached. What are the advantages if you are a coaching-driven leader? So a coaching-driven leader would always build mutual respect with the coaching. Anyone who has an intention to, handhold and develop you will always get respect from people. You will always help them grow and they will become more efficient in their tasks. And there will be an unconditional positive regard from your side to the coachee as well as from the coachee's side to you. As you have seen, the example of Ramakant Achrekar or the example of Anne Sullivan, who coached Helen Keller. The amount of positive regard they have for their coaches and the amount of transition they have undergone in their life, they all owe it to their coaches only. So thumb rule is that openness as a coach, that will also be very important, because see, all of us, we are very vulnerable when it comes to emotions. We never want to share our emotions. We never want to share our weaknesses. We never want to share our areas of improvement, because as leaders, we feel that the person who is reporting to me, what will he think? He will take me for granted now. So what I have experienced is that is all a myth. Openness as a coach, it opens the doorways to the heart and the coachee gets connected to you. Empathy and listening, very important. And a coaching mindset. that yes, everyone is coachable. If you look at the positive things, or if you look at the problems as these are the problems, challenge, okay, but these are the ways how I can find the solutions. So coaching mindset is very important. Duration and goal setting is very important. Like you cannot take a 20-point program which goes on for 5 years. So any coaching agenda which you take has to be time bound, and a fixed goal has to be set. Suppose, I'll give you an example. If I want to lose 2 kgs of weight, so I cannot just keep in my mind that I want to lose 2 kgs of weight. I have to make it a goal that if today my weight is 54, I want to come down to 52. So how many months do I want to take? 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. What am I going to follow? So that is how you set goals for everything. I want to convert a doctor. Now we can self-coach ourselves also. We can set goals. I want to convert a doctor. This doctor, how much business do I want? How much time am I going to take? What are the options available? How am I going to convert? So, coaching can be broken down into so simple stuff. Now, how do you coach during, joint field work? So something which I would like to share with you, that as a manager or as a leader, whether you are a sales manager or a training manager or any manager who has to show performance. So believe me, your performance completely depends on the reportee's performance. And the reportee's or the coach's performance depends on 2 things: the ability and the willingness to carry their responsibilities. Now, this ability and willingness, it varies in each individual. So your coaching or your leadership style should be modified according to the readiness level of your reportee. So the readiness level means how ready is your coachee or your reportee to perform. So you have to actually identify 2 things. One is the softer skills, and the second one is the harder skills or the technical skills. So the softer skills can be communication, behavior, body language, etc., emotional intelligence, listening skills, and the technical skills should be again product knowledge. Maybe how does he calculate his incentives? How does he calculate his sales figures so that he achieves his budget? How does he analyzes the implementation of strategies? So sales coaching can be divided into such simple things which are done on a daily basis. But when you enter into coaching, you do it with a conscious mind. You're not inconsistent in that. So if you see that this is the skill and will matrix, wherein people in your team can be divided into 4 categories: R1, R2, R3, and R4. And there are 2 tangents you can see: the will and the skill. So you'll have some people who are very high on will, and they are low on skills. So identify the coachable areas in them. The coachable areas would be, of course, technicalities, right? There are some people who would be, what will you be doing with such people who are at R1 level, readiness level 1? You will be telling them what has to be done, when it has to be done, where it has to be done, how it has to be done. So coaching is involved whenever a person is at R1 level. Mostly when people join your organization new, or the freshers, or all those people who do not have enough work experience, they fall in the category of R1. When you start working and when you start coaching people at R1, you will take those people to a next level, which is maybe not exactly mentioned over here. They will still be motivated, but their skills will be average. Okay. And then simultaneously, you can grow all your people to R4 level, wherein they become highly skilled and they get highly motivated also. And so this has to be your journey as a coach, as a manager, as an area manager, or as a regional manager. RBMs can work on area managers like that. ABMs can work on the business executives or the medical representatives like that. Identifying the R1 areas and identifying the R4 areas. Again, R1 areas are those areas which are coachable areas. R4 areas are those areas which are the strengths of the person. So the strengths of the person will help the coachee to, evolve on the weaker points also. The strengths is going to, because if he has got a great motivation, that will help him to develop that desire to learn from you also. So be very open, have a blueprint of your team members, understand what are the R1 areas, what are the R4 areas. At the same time, who are the people who are in the category of R1 and how will you take them to R4? This is one coaching which can be done on a daily basis in your day-to-day field work. So as a manager, you should develop your people from R1 level to R4 level. So coaching possibilities are abundant in field and sales also, and it has to be done on a day-to-day basis. So for sales managers, what you can do is you can set a coaching agenda during a joint field work, identify your team member, what you want his performance to be, what is the expected performance minus what is the actual performance. That becomes your potential coaching need. So if you want a person to be very good in clinic effectiveness, your benchmark is when he goes to the doctor's clinic, he takes at least 3 minutes. He's able to probe, he is able to handle objections, and he's able to close the call. Okay, but the actual performance is he knows, but he is quite nervous. He is not able to probe the doctor. Is not, whenever the doctor asks him question, he's not prepared with the journals or documents, etc. So that becomes your potential coaching. Sit with him, identify the goal. That see, these are the things which you are supposed to improve on. Find the actual level, set an expected level, and then plan and execute what will you do to achieve the goal. So taking the same example, if you want the person should be good in clinic effectiveness, fix a day, maybe Saturday mornings, or maybe twice in a week, wherein you all are meeting together. You give him a task, and then let him come back to you. So you handhold him also, you are challenging him also, you are giving a task also, and you are reviewing him also. And in few months' time, if you can set a time of maybe 2 months, in 2 months' time, you'll find that the person has actually traveled from this place to that place, to the expected performance level, what you wanted. So this is how, practically, because coaching is a big thing, I have just tried to squeeze things so that I can make it very simple outside the management jargons, which actual coaching uses. So what you can do as a manager is you can take at least one member from your team to start with whom you share a good rapport. Sharing a good rapport is that the person would listen to you, person would trust you, person would think that, अच्छा इसका कोई hidden agenda नहीं है, ये क्यों मुझसे इतना बातें कर रहा है, क्या चल रहा है दिमाग में. Usually when you don't have trust, so the other person perceives you like that. So take a person with whom you share a good rapport, jot down what you expect from him, and that should be a mutual agreement. He should also have a desire. Okay. It can be technical, it can be behavioral. Don't start working on too many things at a time. Take one thing at a time. If you want to be technical, take a technical thing. If you want that, his body language, his dressing, his etiquettes are to be improved, you can take that too. So take one thing at a time. Rate him where he is currently. So sit face to face. Tell him that, dear, on a scale of 1 to 10, as of now, you are at 2, and I want to reach 9 or 10. And he should be in agreement with it also. Specifying what is your expected level. Analyze the gap and coach him to achieve the desired level. So if you feel that his dressing sense is not good, so you can give him ideas that what type of, what color shirt he should use, what should be, how should he tie the knot of the tie, what type of shoes he should wear, what types of socks he should wear, whether he should wear a smile, how much smile he should wear when he enters the doctor's clinic, how should he stand, how should he use his hands when he's talking to somebody. So you have to identify that on what things you will be able to coach him. Make a time-bound agenda and then rate and review him every week. And you will find this person changes. Anything which starts definitely is going to end. The problem over here is that we are indulged into too many things and we don't at all start. So even if you try to start at least on one point, you'll find a change. And this is how you can become a coach. So I'm just sharing some examples, being I also have a sales experience of 10 years. So I thought these are some important things, like maybe product knowledge, in-clinic effectiveness managers can take, in-clinic planning and implementation of strategies. This is something where everyone is struggling. But as a manager, when you go, you just give your dictum that, is mahine to itna sale aana hi chahiye, but you're not looking into why sales is not happening. So there is a coaching need gap. Okay. So is he implementing the strategies properly? Is he planning it properly? So these are some basics which you can plan. System adherence. Does he report on a daily basis? Does he fill the formats properly? Etc. Whatever system you have in your organization. You can take communication also. Communication, again, it's a vast topic. So you can at least take in-clinic communication, or you might take communication while he talks to his team members. Like if you have a team and there are 6 people, there are some people who are rude to talk. There are some people who are very passive to talk, some people very aggressive. So you can, draw a line and share with him that what is assertiveness, what are the benefits of assertiveness, where he is now, and how you can help him to grow assertiveness. On interpersonal relationship, in everything, these things can be taken during your joint field work. Analytical skills, how do you analyze data? That also. So these are some important, topics and many more, which you can take one by one as a coaching agenda for your team member during joint field work. So again, I'll realize how to go ahead. If you take any one of the topics shown here, how will you go ahead? First, establish a rapport, discuss why this is important. Has he got the desire or not, etc. Try to understand him and listen to him why he is not able to do this. There must be reasons. Be open to listening. Be empathetic. Don't give judgments. कि वो ऐसा नहीं करता और ऐसा नहीं करता. That should not be the motive. You should have empathy. Every behavior has a reason, a positive intention. So you have to catch those reasons why he is not able to do. Have a conversation about where he should improve, and take him into agreement. Fix a time. Follow up. Fix follow-up timings also. Measure the improvement weekly. Give feedback. Person would definitely improve. And do not be a miser on appreciation. Please appreciate him on his improvement. Have empathy if he or she responds slowly. There are some people who are slow learners. There are a lot of baggages which doesn't allow them to learn. Their mindsets, etc. So have empathy, have patience, and extend more support. In today's era, do not think that everything will be, like instant Maggi noodles. Like you cook and you get in 2 minutes. So you have to invest time and efforts, of course. Coaching, that's why I started with, it requires a lot of empathy and patience if you want to really coach. So I think this is all about my topic, which I wanted to share with you. I wish I could have shared a lot, but then this is the best I could do with so many things in my mind, that how could I add to people's understanding when it comes to coaching during, sales fieldwork.
I think it was a really wonderful session, Kiranji. You took us to many areas of coaching, and fascinated me, how that can be actually implemented in pharma. Because coaching is a very, it has been discussed in the industry for a long time. You talk about FMCG, might be, Madhumita ma'am might be knowing it. At top management level, this has been implemented in many industries. But when it comes to pharma, probably, we are discussing about the coaching very, very recently. So to summarize what you have been told about, you have started your session with what is the need for coaching in pharma, and you actually summarized on who actually want to become a coach, because there are 2 players here. One is a coach and the other is a coachee. So who is eligible as a coach? Basically, he should have empathy, and he should have listening skills. a very genuine listening skills, and he should have a trustworthy. People should believe that whatever he's saying is right, or he's he's doing what he's saying. So that kind of trustworthy should be there. And who is an encourager? Usually we see in many teams, people sometimes, there is one guy who encourages everybody. He may not be doing everything, but he encourages everybody. So that is a potential guy for the coaching. And always available when somebody needs an advice, he is the person who is go to person, and who makes the others believe that they can do. Because most of the times what I have seen is, people have a lot of skills, but they don't know. It's like, Hanumanji doesn't know about his own skills, and Jambata told that, you have these skills. So that is the role of an actual coach to, give him the real insights of his own skills, and see the hidden power in others. Most of the times we see what negatives others have, but very, very difficult for us to identify the positive points in them. So the coach should always have the best eye to see the positive in everything. So you also discussed about why coaching is needed, especially in pharma industry, because we know that pharma is one of the industries where it's a very traditionally developed, and we have been managed like, the 90s and 70s and 80s model of leadership. But now that will not work now, because the kind of, the workforce that we have, they're very sensitive, and the challenges in the market also very, very vulnerable. So you cannot deal with the people the way you used to deal, like our managers and our ancestors. So definitely the coaching will definitely help the leaders to improve their, the overall team's performance. So you talked about the beautiful 5 steps of coaching, that is building trust, which is a Johari window away, and understanding the goals, diagnosing the change, development support, and also you should also look into your growth also as a coach. And you talked about grow model also, that is goal, reality, option, and way forward. But what fascinated me more is, how you discussed about the need of coaching in pharma industry, especially as an area manager. He is the man actually who is going to either create the brand or spoil the team, because he is the one who is actually with the soldiers, the ground soldiers. So being an area manager, if he's a good coach, definitely he is going to develop his team. Because you said that, when you go to joint work, he has to sit with the team, understand what is the expectation, what is the reality, what is the expectation, and then he has to identify, okay, for him communication skills are not good, I need to sit with him on improving the communication skills. Sit with him, chart down, tell him that this is what the areas of improvement for you, and then give him a time and get a feedback, weekly or fortnightly feedback, so that you know what is the progress. I still remember when I was going for a field work. This is how we were taught. Like when we go to the field work in any territory, first we never rush to the doctor calls. First we sit with the guy, we understand the territory, and we understand the challenges, and then jot it down. So how I can help you in this? Because I may be coming only once, maybe next month. 30 days you have to work in this territory alone. So what support you want from me? And he used to give five things. Sir, मुझे ये डॉक्टर का कॉल नहीं मिल रहा है, नहीं तो यहाँ का स्टॉकिस्ट का इश्यू है, he is not placing the order. And once you jot it down, even sometimes they only give the answer or solution, but until unless you don't ask and you don't help him, they stuck there. And genuinely when you are sitting with them and then ask them, okay, let's go together, and even if the doctor does not convert, but still he gets the confidence that, okay, I have somebody with me who is a coach, and he's at that time we don't know about coach and coachee, but this is how we used to manage our teams. So, and he used to get a lot of motivation, and that motivation lasts up to at least 30 to 45 days. And that should be the role of a area manager, because once you are going there, sitting with him genuinely, identify his problems, then jot it down and genuinely try to help him with a time frame and with a proper feedback. So you talked about this skill will matrix, which is very nice. I think most of the times what we have seen is people have skills and they have low motivation. I think it's R2 window. So there, if somebody doesn't have a skill, you can teach him. The skills are teachable, but attitude is something which has to be developed for years, because somebody get an attitude because of his past experience, his past habits, or his family background and friends and everything. So overnight you cannot change him, but skill you can teach. Communication skill you can teach, but attitude you cannot teach. So in that is a bigger challenge for any kind of leader who has a negative mindset but has a very good skills. So how to keep him motivated? So that is one. Maybe you can come up with kind of any solution for that, where the person is very highly skilled, but he doesn't want to go because he's not motivated. He's not happy. Even if he gets double the salary, he will not be happy. He gets a bonus, he is not happy. So in that situation, how to cope up and how to lead those guys. And yeah,
I think this will need a session, but then shortly I will tell that what I have learned in NLP is that every behavior has a positive intention. So every behavior of any individual. So if I am very happy, there is a positive intention towards myself. If I am demotivated, that is also a positive intention because I'm feeling that way, and because of that I'm unhappy. If there is a terrorist, he is a terrorist, but he also has got a positive intention. He might be hitting a bomb, but then he knows that I'll be getting money. So everyone has a positive intention towards the behavior they show to others. Now, as a manager, you should be responsible and matured enough to know about that particular reason. So be solution centered. Usually what happens that people keep stamping as attitude issue, that wo banda aisa hai, that person is like that. So they become so person specific that they mess up the problem actually. So if you have to, if people are showing negative attitudes, or as we say, attitudes, draw a bigger line. Cutting the line is only going to give you conflicts and clashes.
yeah.
So show a bigger attitude.
True. So coming to even my own team, for example, we used to feel that managing a medical trips is difficult because they are not so much educated. Like you don't get most of the MBAs. They are mostly graduates, and by default they come into the profession. Most of the organizations. But now I'm a distributor, so I have 10th and maximum highly qualified is 12th, and managing these guys is even more difficult. And but it's a very great learning when you are managing and when you're understanding these people, and they have very small issues, small things which make them not to come to the office. Even you tell them that if you come regularly, every day you come at 10 o'clock and leave by don't leave before 6 o'clock, you will get 3,000. In spite of that, nobody will come. So, and for them 3,000 is almost 30% of their salary. So so this is a very challenging kind of thing when we most of the times when I discuss with the area managers, they say that, sir, it's very difficult to manage the team. Probably they have never managed the even much unskilled people. Then they would have feel very happy that, okay, sir, I can manage this team, because at least they are graduate, they understand, and they can motivate by some kind of virtue or some kind of benefit or something. So one question from my side, especially when a new any new joinee joins the organization, what what is the first thing that an area manager should take care when the new joinee joins?
So any new joinee, when he joins an organization, he doesn't know anything about the organization, doesn't know about the culture. He knows that it's a good company, I'll get salary. Beyond that, he doesn't know people. He just knows whatever he has searched in Google, etc. Or he might be having reference from those people who are working in field. The manager is also very new. So this is a time wherein that trust and the bond has to be built. So the manager's approach has to be of care and concern that you have joined this organization. Don't worry, I am there to support you. If you make mistakes, I will help you out. First, I'll teach you.
Yeah.
And then still, if you make mistakes, do not worry. We still have time. I'll help you out. So that is an approach of a guide and a mentor. And then when a person joins you on day one, and if he sees, and we like in IPCA, we call it as induction process, which is very mandatory. So 2 days to 3 days we take just to tell him about the whole organization, about the brands, and it is done by the regional managers. Now, in these 2-3 days, what is happening is the regional manager is showing a selfless approach towards the person who has joined. So already there is deposit of trust which has started happening. The new joinee has started understanding and evaluating the manager also. That is this company worth staying or not? Is this manager a proper person or not? And wherever you find that these things are not happening, on that day one, he will make his mind कि मेरा और एक जगह selection होना बाकी है, let me take a call. So the approach has to be like, I am taking you, like a girl gets married and the in-laws have to, take her with a lot of love, care and concern. The same approach has to be there of the manager also. Proper induction, not only that, proper interviewing, on the interview day also, the candidate decides whether I want to join this organization. Even if I get selected and if I join, how long will I stay with this organization?
Yeah.
Because the face of the organization is the person who is inducting him.
Yes, absolutely. Because the first few days will actually give him the gist of what is the culture of the organization and how long he can actually visualize himself in that organization. So if there is a missing or there is a gap in that, definitely that's why you see most of the resignations happen within 6 months.
Yes, and not only that, setting your expectations also. You have also taken him with certain expectations. Now, expectations do not have to be 100% achievement of target. They have to be your discipline, your punctuality, your preparedness, your system adherence. That has to be the expectation. Result is a consequence of that. So there has to be a mind shift in that. In fact, people select people so that the person will come and he will start doing wonders, start achieving numbers. And this is where they go wrong, actually.
True. Yashwant, any questions from Facebook?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Regulation on coaching and mentoring during joint field work. One question for Madhumita ma'am. Some of the people who are having nephro product and they want to venture into this Oman, Muscat, UAE and African countries. So they don't have how to register their company, how to get the regulation created. So their question is how to enter a semi-regulated market. Can give some idea whom to approach and how to enter? Madhumita ma'am.
Yeah. So, every country, the regulatory has their dossiers. So one needs to undergo, one needs to have a hold of that dossier, go through it very, very carefully and fill up everything to understand that what are the real needs to get into this thing. The second thing is, if the country is very much regulated and has apprehensions of any product entry, then that country might need a clinical trial. which can go up to 2 to 3 years.
Ma'am, actually, this question is asked by Shankar Moria. He is one of the regular viewer of LPC, and they have urology, nephrology product. So, can you help them in getting? Can they contact you for this regard? And can you help them in getting? Great, great. Ma'am. Thank you very much. And then, before going to the next question, I would like to recognize those who are actively watching and giving appreciation to LPC. Rohit Velankar, thank you very much, Rohit, for appreciating our and watching. Hitesh Suprati sir is watching. Thank you very much, Hitesh sir, for your appreciation. Then Kushagra Mathur, thank you very much. Rohit, Shiv Shankar Moria, I told Nasruddin Chishti, thank you very much. Vinod Vaswani, thank you very much for watching. We really, this gives us immense confidence when people are live and they comment and they appreciate our module. Not only that, here Paras Sharma sir is watching. Thank you very much. Shubhajit Banerjee Mukherjee. Shubhajit Mukherjee sir, CBU at Acumentis is watching, sir. Thank you very much. Prashant Menon is watching. Thank you very much, Prashant sir, and appreciating our things. Ma'am, next question to you. One of the colleague has asked, according to you, what is the success mantra? According to you, what is the success mantra in any of the emerging market or rest of the world market? Any 2-3 tips you can give them?
And I think my answer to everything is the cornerstone, understanding it from the consumer and patient's lens, and of course, understanding the ethnicity, also understanding the regulatory space very, very well. Looking at all the 8-9 P's, don't stick to your 4 P's, right? So that is very important. And selecting the right partners. When I talk about partners, there are various kinds of partners. It could be the market research partner. I have seen that market research in many companies, when they've done a market research in a country, they've given them some random data and arrived at a certain data. You should be very adept and very sharp in looking at that data and understanding what they're speaking. So what happens is that there is a natural tendency in most MR reports to say that, oh, this is the most exciting avenue to be in. But when you read through, I mean, your numbers speak very much. When you read through those numbers, do you understand? And of course, collaborate with a lot of secondary research yourself. That agility is needed. Then you understand that it may or may not be. So every aspect of it, take it with a pinch of salt. Sometimes in our hurry, we might just miss a lot of this data. Secondly, look at your product and look at your competition, not only in terms of the direct competition, but also peripheral competition. When you look at your molecules, so for example, the country might be, let me take a GI example. Okay, the country might show you huge potential for omeprazole, but where you might see an emerging trend in prescriptions of pantoprazole. That you have to be agile to see that you might want to go omeprazole, but pantoprazole is the next line of action to happen. So then you need to identify the emerging molecule rather than the existing molecule and launch accordingly. So it's a lot of agility. It's a lot of marketscaping, market mapping, understanding the numbers not as it is told, but to read between the lines.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for giving insights. And one wonderful statement you told, understanding Asian diaspora very well is very, very important before entering. The ethnicity, the culture, the people need understanding, and definitely cost parties are important. Thank you very much, ma'am, for again accepting our invite and giving a very good overview of international marketing. We really thoroughly enjoyed both the sessions. So as we are at the end of the session, I would like to have the closing remarks from both the speakers and the moderator. How do you like? Did you like this platform and your suggestion for that? Beginning with Madhumita ma'am. Your closing remarks, take home message for the viewers.
Yeah. Yashwant, what happens is when you have spent so much of time in an industry and you've given so much of commitment, you've also learned which you want to impart to a lot of people around there, which is my natural tendency. Shaping up the people, at least the next generation people, to take up, higher responsibility to make them understand what this all is about. So mentoring comes very, very natural to me. And I think LPC gives me that platform. The second is that while you might feel that you're an expert in many things, and I'm referring to coaching, for example, for a very long the session on coaching that Kiran took was almost like a refresher course for me. So if you want to be relevant and you want to be with the times, no matter what the length of time that you spent into the company, no matter what your age is, what is the experiences, you have to keep learning. And LPC does provide that platform. From learning from various kinds of people with diverse background, I think I enjoy it a lot. This mentoring and continuous learning is very, very critical to make you an professional. And you need to be very humble about the things.
Thank you very much for time to time guiding us and giving us inspiration. Definitely will approach you to take LPC to the global level and even
Very
to
important, as I always say.
Yes. You have
My
already
pleasure.
given some tips, and we'll definitely approach, and we will, with your support and encouragement, definitely will take it to the global level and create an environment of connect, collaborate, and co-creating. Now I go to Kiran ma'am. Kiran ma'am, thank you very much once again for enlightening us. Your closing remarks, Kiran ma'am.
Okay, my closing remarks. First of all, again, I would thank, LPC. I won't say it as a great platform. It is sort of a family. What is their agenda? Their goal is to, they're coaching everyone. They are very consistent and they're very planned also. So that itself, hats off to all of you. The amount of, work, effort, and time goes in this, and your desire. Unless you had this desire to, give to the society on every Sunday, this would not have been possible. So there is a lot to learn from this spirit of LPC itself. I learned a lot. I've seen people grow through LPC. I've seen people, achieve a lot through LPC because they got this platform. So in fact, they gave us also a platform to come and share our thoughts with the viewers. So I'm really in love with LPC, no doubt about this. And coming to the topic which you had suggested me to take on, I will again say that pharma sales, you all have to be very alert now and very sincere and serious about this now. Because if you really want, the world is really, it's a round circle. If you are not coaching enough, you are leaving uncoached people into the system, and they are going to get back to you. We see people leave IPCA and after some time they come back. Okay, we are getting those, and that must be happening in many other organizations also. So if you are leaving somebody uncoached, that person is going in the system, going somewhere else. And this is how, although pharma being one of the largest employers when it comes to the industry, you won't find people are so fascinated at the entry level to come here. I think lack of coaching, lack of empathy, lack of patience, and lack of this desire to help people grow in the ladder. That is something which is a mind block everywhere, that how do I make a career out of it? People have to come out of this concept of things will happen like Maggi noodles. That is really dangerous to your health. Once in a while it is okay, but you cannot have it. You cannot serve yourself every day. So if you have to cook a good recipe, there are a lot of things, the right amount of fuel, the right amount of oil, masalas and vegetables and whatever. So have patience. Coaching is also one of the most important ingredient, like salt. If you don't add salt, what happens to the recipe? So you cannot undermine it. Do not be in a hurry to achieve numbers. Numbers is just a consequence or a result. The process is very important. So as managers, we should start believing in the process, and that helps.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Pharma company industry a much better place to live also.
True, ma'am. It is rightly said, ma'am. People are the biggest asset for the organizations. As you rightly said, people are the biggest asset. Not only that, ma'am, with the changing dynamics, when MCI guideline, UCPMP guidelines are coming and investment on doctors are restricted, it is a time to invest on people, because once people are well trained and they are able to build relationship, companies can grow. And thank you very much for remarks, ma'am. As you know, today we have our core team member Vinod Vaswani also, and we both are attending the Pharma Ratna Award in Hotel Pride Plaza, Aero City, Delhi. I would like to have his opinion about today's session.
Yeah.
Vinod.
Thank you. First of all, as you rightly said, coaching is very important, and in a pharma industry, which is there, it's from the top to the bottom. Coaching how you develop your people, as people are the greatest asset for the pharmaceutical industry. And about the LPC, thank you very much. This platform, no doubt, it is serving to the pharma fraternity in a big way. We are completing more than 100. Now it is 134th episode we are into. So it is a great achievement where society, pharma fraternity itself is contributing now a lot. It started with Raman, Yashwant, ICS, me joining in, and now it has gone in a global way. And glad that we are receiving an award, as rightly said, in Delhi, which is their felicitation of LPC. It's a big achievement for all the selfless efforts which have gone in building this platform. So your session was very interactive. I'm sure those pharma people who want to make a career also, and those who are already in pharma, coaching is something which is one word which will remain in the industry and help to develop the huge potential which is there inside, and help in the further enhancing the competencies and contribute towards the society. Thank you very much. It was nice interacting with you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, Madhumita, ma'am. Thank you very much, Kiran, ma'am. Now over to ICS Verma, sir, for closing remarks. ICS, sir.
Yeah, thank you, guys. So in fact, we should actually, remember the way the LPC has started. It was a COVID which has actually created a kind of reel in the industry where we never thought of actually the visual meetings and online interactions. Even until we met in Mumbai last year, our first LPC conclave, we were all connected, but it was like, we know for many years because of LPC. So even today, what I learned from LPC or from the industry is the one who is sharing and who is caring is always going to be respected and will grow. So once again, thanks to LPC, and thank you Madhumita ji and Kiran ma'am. Thank you Yashwant, Arpan and Vinod. And
thank you so much. Wish you all the best
Bye.
for the award.
All the best.
thank you.
And
Thank you very much.
do flash the award very fast as soon as you get it.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. So nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Shall we leave now? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Verma ji. Nice meeting you
Thank you.
again.
So thank you also. So Yashwant, sir, with your permission, should I end the meeting?
Yes, close. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.